Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do something that's a little bit different. I think you'll really learn a lot. We're going to do another free tip video, this time on the blender brush. I'm going to show you how to take a very rough painting and turn it into something that's so soft and misty and has a lot of depth. Let's get started. Now, before we begin doing anything up here, I want to show you what I've done. I spent maybe the last 5 minutes just with a filbert brush, and right here is a little bit of dark and some white to make a cloud. Now, can you see just how horribly rough this is? It looks just terrible. I did that on purpose. I made it even more rough than it normally would be. And right over here, this mountain, I just left it very, very rough, very flat, no highlight. The reason is because we're going to try to get mist in there, and I'll show you how all that's done. All right, now let's talk about our blender brush. This blender brush is made from extremely soft natural hair. See, that comes to a bit of a bevel there, so it makes it even easier to blend. All right, let's get started here. Let me show you how to fix these clouds should you get something like this. Now, what I'm going to do is and by the way, this little blue area is wet as well. Now down here is dry. This is just an old scrap canvas, but everything up here is wet. All right, here we go. I'm going to start by simply blending out the bottom of each cloud just a bit because it's so rough. Too many brush strokes. I'm going to carefully blend and I'm going to just sweep. And I'm using this bevel on the brush to my advantage. See that? Now, here's a tip. Get a fresh paper towel out, set it on the table. Wipe your brush off every 5 or 6 brush strokes. There, at least in the really complicated areas. If you want your brush to become clogged a little bit with paint, that's fine. But the second you start like dragging the color around, wipe it off. It just takes 1 second. Just always wipe it. Kind of get into a habit. All right, there, isn't that nice? Now, we haven't touched or repaired the top of the cloud, just the bottom. Now these over here, I'm just going to sweep over the entire cloud. Good. Over here. All right, this blender brush will save the day. If you ever have areas that are just too hard in your painting, it'll totally save the day. There you go. If you don't have one, give it a try. If you do have one, practice with it. And don't be afraid to get it out. It's a great little brush. All right, now this big cloud, I'm going to continue to the same technique I just taught you. I'm not as concerned with this one. It's a little larger, it's a little closer to us. And there we go. So it can be left with a little more brush stroke. Now, to repair the top, or to blend the top, take your brush and sweep over it. Using big overlapping X's. Don't just go drag it across like the whole sky. It'll look like water. Have some movement to your clouds. Bring them up and see that? Overlapping X strokes. Very professional look to your painting if you do that. Has a good movement that way. If a painting can move. It's always fun with the words we use to describe our paintings. But you'll almost feel like a movement coming across here. Super cool. And of course, if you paint, you know exactly what I mean. There. All right, see, that is so nice. All right, we took a horrible looking sky and turned it into something that was really good. Just a few brush strokes. Now, that was good, but what are we going to do with this flat mountain? I don't want to add highlight. I want to fix it with the blender brush. I want to enhance it with the blender brush. Here's one of the absolute best things you can do with the blender. Little spot right there. All right, best thing you can do with the blender. Take this blender and load it now with a little bit of white. Just tap it right into the white. Not a lot. Let me show you just enough to sort of coat the bristles there of the brush. Not a whole lot needed. All right, now, let's see. Right in here, I'm going to pick out a spot. I think right here looks good. I'm going to set this brush down. Watch this. Oh man, let it float right over the mountain. Let it float. This mountain is wet. If you try to do this with a heavy bristle brush, oh man, you are in for a mess. But oh, you do it with this brush. If you're careful, if you've loaded it properly, you use just a feather light touch. And you can have a beautiful, soft, misty area that floats right around that mountain. Look, see how it took a flat mountain and now we're making it work because it's sitting now in the mist. I'm gonna separate this mountain with more mist. See that? Destroying the edge, but you can still see it. You destroyed the edge, but it's still left intact, just a little, just enough to show that there's something there. Oh, that's beautiful. Right over here, watch this. we're making this misty, misty mountain. Nice. Good, and I'm going to leave a couple of sharp areas because those sharp areas will help to provide a bit of a variation. Look at that misty. We can just make the whole painting rows of misty mountains. Whoa, wouldn't that be cool? Over here I want less mist. I'm going to float just a bit. There. Oh yeah. Overlapping X strokes. See that? Beautiful. Feather this mountain. You couldn't do this with any of the other brushes easily. Maybe you get away with a little bit, but not much blending. This is your brush to do these subtle, subtle areas. There. Give your painting a professional look with this brush. See how that works? We've created some depth and detail. Now I went ahead and reset our painting here, painted another mountain and this time like a sunset. And I'm going to show you one more really cool thing we can do with the blender brush. But for now I'm going to use a 3/4, and it could be anything, just use whatever you want here. A little yellow and white, and we're going to paint beautiful, vast sun rays coming right over this mountain. Won't that look neat? I think that'll be so cool. All right, they're going to come out, maybe this is a bit, you can kind of see a cloud there. Let's make it right here. Let's make a little bit of a bright area. Okay, believe it or not, we're actually not worried about the bright area. Not really. There, just paint it in quickly. We'll blend it, obviously, as that's kind of the whole idea of this video. Because man, if you learn to control this blender brush and learn to get it to kind of work for you, you could have some amazing effects. All right, set that brush down. Enough of that. Let's grab our blender brush. I washed it and dried it really, really well. Has to be bone dry or it's going to get kind of muddy. So anyway, this time I'm going to draw it through the paint, yellow and white, in both directions, and it's not going to come to a chisel, but the bevel is going to kind of work with you instead of against you and hold the bristles together a little more. Now, this is the easiest way you can do them with a filbert, but over a mountain it would be tricky. You can do them with a 3/4, but again, on the mountain, because we're going over a mountain and potentially whatever foreground stuff you wanted, you're going to need something a little softer. So here we go. Sun rays, just set down your brush, pull it. Oh, wow. Isn't that neat? Alrighty, wipe the brush. Load a little less paint. There, less paint because, one sun ray is sort of the best one, and then the rest we don't care about as much. All right, there's our sun rays. Now, wipe this brush out on a paper towel. And I am going to just stroke this with the direction of the sun ray 2 or 3 times just to blend it. Obviously this mountain has some blue in it, and so you gotta be really careful and wiggle them left and right to throw them out of focus. Good, okay, now this little bright spot, this is as simple as just doing our overlapping X stroke. Maybe right here I see a spot where I think it's a little hard. I think we need to work on this spot even more. Take this brush. There. Get a bigger, thicker one there. Yeah, so that softens it. Make it come out the other way a bit. All coming around from that point. There, oh yeah, that's prettier. Just see how you have so many options. You are not limited here. All right, well I think we're done with our free tip video for today. Don't forget to check out all the other brushes as well as our DVDs. Thanks for watching.